Okay, so good morning, Mr. Tsai. Good morning, Mr. Wang. Let's start in 1 minute or so if you are ready.
Sure, Doctor. Good morning.
Okay. So let's start. Good morning, John Wang, Stephen Say from Good morning, John Wang and Stephen Say from Accenture in Great China. We are happy to have you this morning with us just to discuss a little bit to the Chinese car market. Stephen, the first question to you, what volumes do you expect for the Chinese car market in 2025 and 2023?
Sure, Doctor. So actually, when we look at the actual volume of 2020, I think more or less it landed somewhere around 25 million units, slightly lower than the number in the year before due to COVID-19 impact. But we indeed witnessed a speedy sales recovery in the second half of 2020 after the COVID situation got better. And the trend remained very positive in the beginning of this 2021. So if we do the simple, let's say, projection of putting up the same growth projection as the Chinese GDP, assumed at 6%, then I think we are looking at somewhere around 30 to 35 million units for 2025, and close to 40 to 45 million units when it comes to 2030.
So very optimistic outlook for China, for the largest car market in the world. NEVs and battery electric vehicles is the main instrument, it's the main product for the next 5 and 10 years and thereafter. What do you expect for China with the NEV around 2025 and 2030? What should be, or what could be the market shares in China of this important new vehicle?
Right. So, Doctor, this question actually came right in time. Interestingly, the Chinese government recently issued a report about NEV industry plan for 2021 to 2035, kind of the 15-year plan. And in the report, basically, we got the forecast around sort of projecting the NEV market share close to 25% when it comes to 2025, and it would further grow to close to 40% in 2030. So this is actually I would say, optimistic as well as a positive plan as released by the central government.
Interesting. Let's look a little bit on car makers and suppliers' direct investments in China, because China pointed out for its next 5-year plan that it will concentrate stronger on the internal economy, on the Chinese customers, on the Chinese economy. Do you think that we will see more direct investments in China from European car makers and suppliers? And would it be possible that China will become some kind of hub for electric vehicles in the world, like that was in the States for the SUVs in the last decade?
Yeah. I would personally think that we could expect a more direct investment into the China market. To what extent, I think it might be difficult for me to comment, but I presume that in the upcoming Shanghai Auto Show, you might get some more direct comments from the global executives of the European automakers. But in terms of the sort of view on this market from someone in the market, I would say China is not sort of a new hub. I would say China is currently already a hub of the global BEV market. And when we look at it from 3 different lenses, from the consumer lens, from the players lens, as well as basically from the local ecosystems. We have different sort of understandings around the current situation. So when we look at the consumers, so indeed the current generations of Chinese consumers have different purchasing behavior as well as mindset, especially the younger generations. They are more digital savvy. They are willing to explore as well as willing to expand. And indeed, you know, they nowadays even sort of consider passenger vehicles almost like a necessity of their life, instead of some sort of luxury jewels or watch that they might just look but not buy. Yeah. And when we look at the sort of players, so it's indeed already a I would say quite competitive environment, because we see startups like Tesla, who has already made a success in the China market as well after the launch of the Shanghai factory, and we see the local competition coming from NIO as well. We also see the sort of very I would say aggressive competition coming from the traditional OEMs, both from you know the known European global traditional OEMs as well. We have seen some BEV models introduced by them into the China market, and we actually also see the participation of tech giants, especially the local tech giants. They are either partnering with the startup or the traditional OEMs, or they are sort of participating into the game directly through some kind of investment or collaborations. And last but not the least, so when we look at also the business models, I would say that we see a lot of interesting movements in the market as well. So if we talk about the sales, it becomes more digital, more online. Almost all the players are right now evaluating this online sales or going towards more direct sales. So what is take? What's the impact? What they should do? When we experience the marketings as consumers, even for myself, we can feel that basically both the consumers as well as the players, they put more emphasis on data-driven marketing, consumer-driven marketing, because this whole world in the market is living on data and online very aggressively. And last but not the least, when we look at like even the sort of R&D ecosystems, it starts to change as well. Although R&D is a heavy topic, people here are talking about a consumer-led R&D, a data-driven R&D, in order to accommodate more consumer requirement, consumer needs into the hardcore R&D process, which is something that have never happened before. Ecosystems, not to talk about, but we all know how the ecosystem is sort of unique in the China market, especially in mainland China. And the ecosystem is basically binding the different players and the consumers very closely in the current era, and definitely it will continue so. This is basically my view. Thanks, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Stephen. It was great to have that insight from your side on the EV, but also on the general market development in China. So we see a lot of dynamics in China, and looking for how to participate in that dynamic for the European car makers and suppliers. Let's go, John Wang, to you. We focused a lot on EVs and trends for customers. I think next big thing would be automatic driving and car software, and all these things in China is very advanced in having this. I read some news about Shanghai that they launch more than 560-kilometer road test region in which companies can test its car in reality, how good software for automatic driving is going on. Can you tell us something more about that big test region?
Okay, thank you, Professor. Actually, together with a rapid increase in the new energy vehicles in China, and the development of ICV is the national strategy in China. And the term, intelligent and connected vehicle has been established in official documents. That document is the draft strategy for innovation and the development of ICV, and which released in January 2018 by the National Development and Reform Commission. And according to the draft strategy, an ICV wrote a broad definition encompasses. The first one is the automated driving system. The second one is vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-everything communication. And the third thing is in-vehicle artificial intelligence, such as a voice, gesture, and motion recognition. And so by now, there are more than 20 testing pilots nationwide. And the huge potential attracts many players in the ICV industry, including the big internet giant company, technology companies, like some new type of tier 1 supplier, including LiDAR and AI chipset suppliers, OEMs, and also the new EV makers. And very interestingly, there is a broad range of the firms active in the construction of ICVs in China. Whereas the companies specializing in the necessary components are very young. Most of them less of 5 years. And Accenture FutureMove also participate in Shanghai testing pilot last year as a technical enabler. And I believe the ICV will be developed rapidly in the next 5 years in China, and by following reasons. And the first one is strong government support on national and local level. The second is the advanced status of digital infrastructure in China. And the third thing is a very strong industry presence in connectivity technologies and internet-related value-added services, consumer services. And the last one is a high acceptance of innovative technologies adoptions by the end users. So that's make this will rapidly develop in the 5 years, next 5 years in China. And in 2020, and based on the information released by Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, and the connected vehicle penetration rate is 30% in China. And I believe in 2025, and we will achieve the goal that the ICV market will fully take shape. Almost 100% of new vehicles will be intelligent connected vehicles. And 5G V2X is introduced by them.
Looks very, very interesting. John, looking around at the automotive show in Shanghai, we see a lot of new products, mainly electric vehicles, full electric vehicles, some of the plug-in hybrids. What are the trends for the next 3 to 5 years in the EV industry, seeing all so many cars available now, also on the stands on the automotive show in Shanghai?
Thank you, Professor. And as we are discussing, and the electrified is accelerating the mobility revolution all over the world, and is benefiting from connectivity, shared mobility, and autonomous driving. And in next 3 to 5 years, and those are some technologies, in my view, I believe will have a great impact on electric vehicle industry. And the number one will be the use of 5G technology. And 5G brings 3 new aspects to the table. The first one is the bigger communication channel to speed up the data transformation. And the second one is lower latency and to allow transport more responsive to the request from different sides, include vehicles, infrastructure, and cloud. And the last thing is the ability to connect a lot more IoT devices at once, and for in-vehicle sensors and smart devices. And 5G technology will certainly facilitate the use of infrastructure and to support the development of electric vehicles and increase the electric vehicle connectivity, safety, and efficiency. And the number two, I think, will be the use of a cloud technology. And along with the use of 5G and more data generated from a vehicle and could be collected and processed in real time. And the cloud technology will decrease the EV makers' IT cost and provide off-board computing environment to enable artificial intelligence and real-time decisions for the autonomous driving, and act as a centralized digital hub for different communication between V2V, V2I, and V2X, which will make the electric vehicle more automated and intelligent. And the number three, I think, will be the over-the-air technology. And through huge amounts of data come from vehicles and different sensors, and the OTA technologies could diagnose and update the software for different ECUs, IVI system, and other in-vehicle embedded system remotely, and always keep the software up to date. And this will make anything happen in the car in the future and increase the user experience significantly. Yeah, that's my view.
So thank you very, very much, John Wang and Stephen Tsai. We appreciate it very much to have you here with us to discuss all these trends we see on the Shanghai Automotive Show. It was interesting to see how fast China is going on into technology-driven automotive markets and systems. So thank you very much and see you next time.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor. See you, Doctor.
Bye-bye.
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 Okay, so thanks a lot. We stop here. See.